As we can tell, we have the Street Fighter 6 roster. It's been on my channel for the last however long. Since release, basically, I've been playing this game. And as a lower tier fighting game player, I guess, because I'm definitely not professional, as a lower tier fighting game player, I am going to give you my ideas on how these characters stack up in terms of how I go about facing them, how I feel about facing them. So obviously, what do? Annoying, kind of tough. I don't mind, and they're pretty easy to fight against. Now, some of these characters I've only played like once against me, right? And let's be brutally honest here. We're just gonna go ahead and just dive straight into this. So Ryu, as a character, he's pretty standard, been in every single Street Fighter. So if you don't know how to fight Ryu, this might be your first Street Fighter. He's not, I don't mind fighting against Ryu. I feel like it's pretty straightforward what you have to do against Ryu. He does have some buttons that are big as fuck, and most Ryus, they're good at the game. Now Luke, I don't really play against often, but a lot of what Luke does, a good amount of what Luke does is pretty punishable. So I don't mind playing Luke at all either. He is kind of, he's all right. He's pretty there. He's, again, not a lot of people are playing Luke at this current moment in time. Chun-Li's a character I find super annoying. There's one move where she flips and you think it's an overhead, but it's really a fucking low. She flips as she hits the floor, and for whatever reason the impact from hitting the floor ends up damaging you, and then she can loop that into other moves. I don't like fighting Chun-Li whatsoever. When it comes to Jaime, I am kind of hesitant to fight Jaime in general, mainly because Jaime has a lot of options in my opinion, especially when he gets his stacks up. There's just so much more that he can do. He has supers that are anti-aired if done correctly. Almost every super can anti-air if done correctly, but I feel like his has a lot of frames that he's just active for. The spinning super is what I'm talking about. So he is kind of a difficult character, for me at least, to fight against. Now Guile, I've played 3 Guiles in the entirety of Street Fighter 6 so far, and each one has fucked me up to a crazy degree. Because what does Guile do? He has that super big uppercut, right? He has his projectiles. His lows, like a lot of his low hitting moves are big as fuck. And you think you only have to block one, at least in the beginning. You think you only have to block one. Sometimes he'll do 2, sometimes he'll just do 1 and then he'll mix you. I hate fighting against Guile with a passion. Now, Kimberly, I don't mind playing against. Kimberly's, I wouldn't say she's easy. She definitely has a lot of mix-up tools. She's a little tough. At least the Kimberlys that I've played against have been a little tough. Now Juri, if I'm being completely honest, I don't necessarily have a lot of issues fighting against Juri. I feel like Juri's good if they're good, right? But at the level that I'm currently at, Juri isn't necessarily somebody that scares me per se. I just have to play a little more patient. Now Dhalsim, I've never played against, if I'm being honest, but no, that's a lie. I played against him twice as Jaime. He's tough. He's tough. Going against Dhalsim, if your approach game is incorrect, a lot of his longer range buttons are 100% just gonna stuff you out. They're pretty tough. All right, Honda's fucking annoying with that big headbutt. Yes, there are plenty of ways to counter that headbutt, 100%. However, if you're not used to the speed in which it comes out, it can get to you a lot. Aside from that, his slaps are crazy. His command grab's kind of crazy. It's mainly the headbutt, if I'm being honest. If a good Honda knows how to headbutt you when they're safe to do so, they can anti-air with it pretty easily too. It's tough. Ken, a good Ken, fucks me up. That's we'll put him at annoying, because Ken is, at least for me, he's one extreme or the other. I'll find myself really at a loss at what to do next, or I can be like, okay, you know what, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. Ken's kind of one of those characters that I don't necessarily struggle with, but he does have a lot of issues. Blanca, I don't mind fighting Blanca, if I'm being honest. He does have a lot of big moves, but I feel like Blanca's not necessarily easy to see what he's gonna do, but you can kind of avoid a lot of his moves. There are a couple that are pretty tough, especially if you're on wake up, because it's kind of a guessing game. But aside from that, I don't necessarily have the most issues fighting Blanca. DJ, I've played once. DJ is definitely tough. I feel like at higher levels, DJ goes crazy. But right now, where I'm currently at, which is around that gold mark, DJ doesn't really do a lot to scare me. But I know that he has the potential there. A good DJ can 100% utilize his moves a lot. I tried to play DJ for a little bit and I just can't do it. Manon? Oh! Don't even get me started on this fucking character. This character's crazy. This character's crazy. At least at the lower tiered where I'm at. I've heard people say that higher tiered, she's not necessarily the best. But as it stands, Manon's kind of fucking wild. Her moves are, the grabs are crazy. The grabs I feel like are always just grabbing me. That little spinning thing that she does on the floor covers so much range. Yes, she's kind of free after that, but if you don't punish that correctly, she can just do it again. In the air, she has a lot of options that kind of stuff me out. Right now, my main is either Jaime or, you know, I can either do Jaime, Kimi, or Marissa. I haven't played Marissa in a while. But speaking of Marissa, I feel like Marissa is very tough to play against. Marissa has a couple of moves that obviously have armor, which is completely fine. You can find a way around that. You can block certain moves if it activates her armor. But then she does that like guard stance that she can move into a grab, or she can move into an overhead, or she can move into just another hit, or she can grab, or she can do that guard stance into another guard stance. And I feel like good Marissas know how to utilize that option because it's such a strong option. She has big, just huge range on her moves. I find her really fun, but I can see it's definitely annoying to play against a good Marissa. A good JP is the kind of character that I don't like in fighting games because of the fact that they're so aggressive on just zoning. A lot of these characters, they fall to zoning, right? A lot of these characters, projectiles, you either have to dodge or you have to block. There's some characters like Jury and Honda that can, you know, clap them out of the air, but not a lot of these characters have that option. Some characters do have projectiles to fight against other projectiles, such as Ken, such as Ryu, such as Guile, such as who else? DJ. If I'm missing Chun-Li, I guess. But a lot of these characters don't. So a good JP will, you know, let you get close, cool. Then you'll get launched pretty much full screen, get hit with a combo while you're getting launched full screen, and then you have to mix it up because his projectiles can be low, they can be grabs, they can be just regular, you know, neutral hits. So there's definitely a lot that you have to avoid when playing against JP, and I've had nothing but issues doing so. I haven't lost every match that I played. However, I've been fucked up a good amount of times. Kami's kind of tough, mainly because of that like moon jump thing that she does. I forget the names of the moves. I don't even think moon jump's a fucking word in her kit, but pretty much she charges up on the ground. She can move into a fake, she can move into a hit, she can move into a slide, she can move into a grab, which sounds like a lot of options, but to be honest, if you just hit her before she does any of those, it's pretty free because there is, for some options, there's a long charge up time and you kind of just have to respond appropriately, but it all depends on how you respond. They might respond differently, right? She's, at least where I'm at, she's not the craziest, but I can definitely see her being a super tough character for me to play against. But she's kind of neutral, right? This girl, what's her name? I forget. Jaime? No, Jaime's fucking the character that I play. Kimberly? No, this is Kimberly. What are you? I don't know what this character's name is. It's gonna be on screen. They're not right there. They're more annoying than anything because a lot of their moves are pretty safe, and so you have to punish at a certain window for some of the moves. Their movement tech is kind of crazy. They can go full screen. They have stacks that they can build up on their win thing. They have an anti-air super, dedicated anti-air super. A lot of their moves are just kind of longer than you'd expect for the stature of the character, but it is because of the club things. Tough to play against for sure, but as it stands, not necessarily the scariest on the roster. Zangief, unfortunately, I feel like Zangief's pretty easy to play against, right? And don't get me wrong, I've lost to Zangief's left and right, and I will continue to do so. It's not because the character is crazy, it's more so because Zangief is straightforward. He wants to grab you. He's a wrestler. He wants to grab you. If you know that Zangief wants to grab you, you're going to choose options that don't necessarily give him the easiest grabs. So as long as you play with that mindset going forward, Zangief is pretty straightforward to fight against. Scary 100% because his grabs do so much damage, but I'm not the most scared of Zangief on the roster. If there was one person I'm the most scared of, I think in general, it's probably fucking Guile, because I genuinely don't know what to do. But if you agree, let me know. If you disagree, go ahead and let me know in the comment section below. Again, I love this game. This game is super fun. I'm going to start, sprinkling other videos back into the channel. I was really into playing Street Fighter, right? In the beginning, everybody is. But yeah, so I'm probably going to move forward with one of these characters. If you have any requests for me to play with any character in specific, or specifically any character, let me know. I'll practice. I'll upload a video, and then we'll try and be not so low tier anymore. But thank you for watching the video. I appreciate it.